Huh.
In the Paper Mario series, we always challenge ourselves to bring something fresh to the action-adventure genre. And this time, in Paper Mario Color Splash, the theme is colors and paint.
After a few hours of playing Mario & Luigi Paper Jam, and after the official reveal of Paper Mario Color Splash, I'm afraid it's finally happened. I have officially become that guy. You know, that guy. The guy who will tell you that The Simpsons hasn't been any good since the 5th season. The guy who tells you that Metallica hasn't truly been Metallica since And Justice for All. Black Album if we're pushing it. The guy who still lurks No Mutants Allowed and insists that Fallout was only good and pure back in the 90s. And indeed, the guy who tells you that Mario RPGs have lost their luster. It's a horrible feeling to have such an integral franchise from your life become mediocre and stale. The humor and snark from Mario RPGs has influenced me since I was really young. One of my standout childhood memories was finally beating Bowser and rescuing Peach at the end of the original Paper Mario. In that moment, as cheesy as it was in retrospect, it felt like I had the fate of the entire world on my shoulders. That point when you, as Twink, overcome Cammy through sheer wish power alone is such an awesome, hammy moment that it's remained burned into my brain for almost 15 years. Now, when almost the same thing happens in Sticker Star, I don't feel that rush. When I first played it, I didn't know why that was. After all, Kirsty's sacrifice at the end should be a bit more poignant because she spent the entire game with you as a faithful companion and a loyal friend. The Sam to your Frodo, as it were. Then, after a few more playthroughs, it hit me. Twink was an endearing star child who made it clear what his own motivations were from the start. He was a good kid with not a whole lot of power to do good with the world. And when Peach gave him that power, it was so awesome to see him in action. By contrast, Kirsty is a Marvel character. She is pretty much snark for snark's sake. When Twink helps Mario, you can sense the sheer joy he gets just from being able to help in a small way. But when Kirsty uses her power, it just feels token. When the credits rolled for Sticker Star back when I first played it, I felt this kind of black pit in my stomach. It's the feeling that I imagine lifelong Star Wars fans must have had back in 1999. I was in denial at first, and I replayed the game a lot of times, unsure that I got it the first time. But the thing is that I did get it the first time. And what I got wasn't bad, but it definitely wasn't the kind of good that the Paper Mario franchise delivered for me for more than half of my life at that time. That warm good that comes from buying new clothes from a favorite brand, or curling up with an old favorite book. That warm good that games like Undertale or Pillars of Eternity provided for me last year. I may not have been a CRPG fan as a kid, but starting Pillars felt like picking up right where Chris Avallone left off all those years ago. I was almost concerned there. For a minute after beating Sticker Star for the second or third time, I thought that I had outgrown the kinds of games that I loved as a kid. But playing Undertale proved to me that that wasn't the case. I've rambled about my own history with Mario RPGs for long enough. Let's get to the point. What makes a Mario RPG a Mario RPG? If we go with pure etymology, a Mario RPG is a role-playing game with Mario in it. Seems pretty basic, but I think the definition is a bit more refined than that. To me, a Mario RPG is an RPG that can afford to tell a deep and powerful story with the kind of extremely hamstrung lore that the Mario franchise provides. It uses short, colorful, and humorous vignettes that often hide a really dark underbelly. It is humor with heart. Even with the horrific puns and the fourth wall breaks that would make Deadpool jealous, it's still able to tell a fiercely emotional story. Last year, Undertale nailed it. The basis is simple. You've fallen underground, there are monsters, and you need to get back home. That's it. But with that premise, it tells a surprisingly moving story about family and love and the warm fuzzies that you get when someone bakes you a slice of pie that you totally remember as a kid. A character is established with some of the most terrible skeleton puns known to mankind, but by the end of the game, you see the things he's gone through, and he turns out to be a really three-dimensional character. You'll end up feeling really sorry for a killer robot dressing up in drag. See, that's what a Mario RPG is. In Thousand Year Door, you had a Babam pour his heart out to you after you learned about what happened to his wife. Those friendly Pianta people from Mario Sunshine turn out to be a really menacing mafia with a weirdly engrossing family drama. Chapter 3, an obvious parody of professional wrestling, manages to have you unravel a dark corporate conspiracy, and this is a Mario game, may I remind you. That's what made the whole experience so magical, you know? You would take home a copy of a brand new Mario game thinking that it would be a fun little dimension-switching romp, and before you know it, you're swept up in a painful and tragic love story with a backstabbing villain that would make friggin' Shakespeare envious. It was subversion, is what I'm saying. It took something that looked unassuming on the surface and made something incredible with it. What better franchise to get that treatment than Mario, a series that's run several genres into the ground? Which brings us to Paper Jam this year. While it definitely retains the humor, as many of the recent Mario RPGs have lately, there's just no soul to it. It's the same grassy plains, the same desert world, the same forest world, the same lava world, etc, etc, etc. There's no deeper meaning or context to anything that happens in Paper Jam. It's Alpha Dream saying, hey look, we did a pretty cool gimmicky thing with paper and cardboard. We can Paper Mario too. Well, you can. Bowser's inside story showed that Bowser was more than the hapless comic relief villain we thought he was. Partners in Time's alien antagonists were really damn frightening for a Mario game. The Mario and Luigi games were also willing to take risks. But now? Now that Nintendo sees Paper Mario more for the paper than the story, now that Paper Jam played it safe with its humor and story, now that we have a new Paper Mario in the wings and it's just another Sticker Star retread, not anymore. You know what though? I'm not too mad about it. Undertale was a huge hit, and while it was definitely more inspired by Earthbound than it was Paper Mario, it still showed that the Mario RPG storytelling formula still works. Fighting Asgore at the end felt just like fighting Bleck at the end of Super Paper Mario, with all the miserable inevitability that that boss provided. Mario RPGs are the kinds of games where you're better off oblivious to the more mature storytelling under the hood. They take the expectations that people might have when purchasing a game with Mario on the cover and throws them right in the recycle bin. And they have really damn good combat too. I mean, that goes without saying, and I'll admit that both Paper Jam and Sticker Star have that in spades. But going out of your way to find obscure real-world objects to solve adventure game puzzles with ridiculous King's Quest logic, or spending a solid half hour trying to find that last paper toad to rally up, that's not a Mario RPG, let alone a Paper Mario game. It is frustrating, tacked on, gimmicky rubbish. The Undertales, the Portals, and the Mother 3s of the world, that is where you find what makes the Mario RPG magical. A decade ago, Intelligent Systems and Alpha Dream had that magic. They still kinda do. I mean, the new Fire Emblems have been getting a lot of attention, and deservedly so. But when you have a game with an Italian plumber on the box that has just as powerful a story as Fire Emblem, if not more so, well, then you have something really special. And you know what? You never know. I'd love for Color Splash to swoop in and defy my expectations. I'm certainly not expecting it, but since Sticker Star, Intelligent Systems has been pumping out some really smart stories. And if Color Splash disappoints, well, at least we'll still have Undertale. Sorry for the emotional rant. I'll see you later.